This is a Kershaw Zero Tolerance Model 302 heavy duty folding tactical knife. And is it a good looking blade? It's a good looking blade. Striking comes to mind. This is just a striking blade. It's beautiful, gorgeous. A couple of my other videos I've talked about just there's so many reasons why we own knives. It's not just practicality, defensive purposes, tactical purposes. All those are great and viable reasons why we own blades. And I'm on board with all of them. I really am. I love them. However, there's also that intrinsic coolness factor that some blades offer. And this Zero Tolerance Model 302 has it in spades. This is just a cool knife. It's an impressive knife. The one that would impress your friends. And that you like to just sit in front of the television flipping for hour after hour. I know I would. It's cool. However, it does have some disadvantages. And to introduce you to those, I want to talk about how we're going to employ this knife. Now, I'm kind of pushing aside just for the moment the coolness factor and the collectability of this knife. Because if I rank this knife just on collectability and coolness, it gets 10 out of 10. Easy. It's just a cool knife. It's cool to hold. It's cool to own. However, it's an expensive blade. Internet price run about $236 at New Gram as of the taping of this video. So that's not cheap. That's a lot of money for a folding knife, in my opinion. At least for me it is. So, you know, let's talk about the practicality of the blade and what it could be used for. And the reason I say practicality is it's heavy. This is a heavy tactical folder. 8.2 ounces. The website lists it at 8.6. My scale weighs this one 8.2 ounces. So that is not a showstopper for a lot of you. In fact, a lot of you, in talking with you guys, I understand that for you and in your situation, what you got going, weight is not that all important to you. You know, you may just want a bomb-proof, bulletproof folding tactical knife. And guess what? If that's what you want, these zero tolerance knives will fill the bill. And I highly, highly recommend them after handling them. Now, granted, I haven't used this knife a lot. This is a first look at this knife, and I wouldn't know unless I used it. But this is a new knife. I'm handling it very carefully. I'm not even going to do a paper cut with it because I might, you know, not keep it because that's a lot of money. So the 8.2 ounces is a question you need to ask yourself. Is that too heavy? Arbitrarily, as you know, I set for my folding tactical knives a 4-ounce limit. That's not to say I don't go over that 4-ounce limit. I do when the blade offers me something substantial. And the answer to that question, is this offering you something more substantial, might be strength. That you want a folding tactical knife that has the strength of a fixed blade design. And if that's the case, that 8.2 ounces for you might be very good weight indeed. Because this is a strong, strong folder. This is a titanium frame lock design, this Zero Tolerance Model 302. You can see this whole slab right here is titanium. Frame lock, I can't film that close, but you can see that frame lock locks up very solidly with the back spine of that blade. Now, theoretically, not as strong as a fixed blade, but it's approaching fixed blade strength, I would think. Another really cool thing they did with this particular model of ZT 302, and I put the clip on this side so you can't really see it. This button underneath the clip actually prevents overextension of that frame lock. So as I open the blade, it catches the frame lock pivot so I will not hyperextend it. Very, very nice design. Love that. We'll go talk to the handle here in a sec. Let's talk about the blade. Excellent, excellent steel. S30V. I don't need to say a lot about S30V. It's just an excellent steel. Currently the darling child of the knife world. I think there's a lot of good steels out there. S30V is highly touted. My limited use of it, I've had good experience. So I can't say anything bad about it. Very stainless, relatively stainless. Good edge holding. Meant specifically for knife making. Good steel. Very expensive too. And that accounts for a lot of the cost of the ZT knife. This one. S30V is not cheap. How about the blade shape? Not a huge blade shape in length. We'll get the ruler out here and look at it. About 3.5 inches. Now, I'm going to get back to the purpose of this knife. What is your purpose for this knife? Are you going to carry it primarily for defensive reasons? If so, in my opinion, I think it's too heavy, because we don't have enough reach. If I'm willing to carry 8.2 ounces on my person, and maybe compactness isn't mandatory, in other words, I can go with a fixed blade, maybe I'll go with a cold steel Peacekeeper 2. Same weight as this. These are the same weight. And yet look at the reach I have versus the ZT. And it's double-edged. So I got a good inch on it, 1.5 inches of reach. And don't kid yourself, reach is everything with a defensive blade. The more the better. Or maybe the Benchmade Nimmervis. By the way, this is the same weight as that. This is actually about 0.3 ounces heavier, but that's not much. Okay, so same weight knives, more reach. So if you're carrying the ZT primarily as a defensive weapon, I would give the weight issue a very close look, because you don't get a ton of reach with the blade, and also you have that very thick pattern, or the very thick width of the blade, which is not bad, but it's just, to me, it's a little bit on the thick side, the 302. That's just a personal preference. That's not to say this couldn't penetrate well, but it might be somewhat limited by that because it's so fat, the blade is. Now, if you're carrying the blade for all-around tactical use and utility use, then yeah, and you want that ultimate strength of the frame lock design, then you've probably chosen well. It's a superior quality knife. It really is. On the blade shape, I talked about thrusting might be a little bit limited because of the fatness of the blade. Also, this is not sharpened, nor could it be on a folder. It would slash very nicely. In fact, in addition to slashing, I think this knife would be an outstanding skinner for a big game. I really do. With that big old belly and the reverse curvature as it comes towards the hilt or the choil area. Very nice. The edge on it isn't super sharp. I would really like to see a hair pop an edge on that as it comes out of the box. Not bad. How about that blade color? Isn't that good looking? I really like the tiger striping that they do on it. It's a Tungsten DLC tungsten coating, so it's supposedly durable. I love that. Just hot looking. And speaking of hot looking, the overall coloration of the 302 is outstanding. That they chose a Coyote Brown. I think you can get it in OD also. And this is a machined G10 scale on this side. As we flip the knife, this is a non-scale. This is actually the frame lock portion, the titanium portion that's been machined and textured. Really a cool design. Good looking, and speaking of the handle, it grasps really nice. Has a very purposeful thumb ramp with outstanding, yes that's right, you heard nutnfancy called this jimping outstanding on the 302. It really locks the thumb in. Nice. Deep finger guard here on the bottom. So if we have to do a thrust cut, I highly doubt our hand would go forward. Very nice. This is an assisted opening design. Relatively fast. Nice solid pop when it comes out. I love that. By the way, I always want a solid pop. Someone was saying, oh, I want it quietly so enemy troops won't hear. No, if we have to do that, we can do a softened two-hand deployment like this. Okay, just use two hands if you need that. But other than that, I want a very solid lockup and pop. And yes, the lockup is outstanding. They have a nut here that you can adjust it with, but that means I'd have to carry a wrench of this size. I'd much prefer a torque screw here. That's just me. I love how you can adjust the pocket clip in all four corners. Very nice job, Kershaw. And I put this one, of course, right there. Very nice. Love it. Overall, the quality on this knife is superb. But, truth be told, it better be superb for the price. My critiques, again, are the weight. 8.2 ounces is heavy. The blade shape is very fat for both utility tasks and for tactical use, in my opinion. And that's about the only critique I have on the knife. On the good side, outstanding blade steel, superb lockup. By the way, the thumb stud, perfectly designed and terraced. Beautiful shaping on the handle and machining. Excellent choice of materials. Good pocket clip, didn't talk about that. Wish it was reversed. I mean, it went deeper so it'd really hide it. But this is a very, very nice knife. Ultra cool collectible, ultra strong folder. If that's what you're wanting, the weight might be good.